I always see people building amazing businesses, making a buttload of money, and then crashing, burning, and having to start all over again. Today, you'll learn the two most important things for building a profitable business you love that allows you to live a life that you love. I'm doing exactly what I'm going to share with you. I had a six-figure design business that I shut down because I was miserable, and I'm starting fresh to do it right this time. These two things are why I shut down my last business that was doing $10,000 a month and why I started a new one. Now, I had a freelance design business. I went to school for 8 years to be a specialized designer, worked for 6 years as a designer, and then realized I don't want to be a designer. I don't like being a designer. I love business. So I shut it all down and I started a coaching business. And I know that sounds insane, but it's why I'm making this video. If you figure out what you love sooner rather than later, you will save so much time and energy. If you want to build a business you love, it makes sense that you should start by figuring out a topic that you're actually passionate about. I mean, just ask yourself, what are the topics you love? Because building a business is a lot of work, so it will inevitably become a big part of your life. If deep down you love music, but you're building a copywriting business, even though you hate writing sales copy, but you heard it makes a lot of money, then eventually you're going to crash and burn. You will not be able to do the work required over a long period of time to get to your desired destination in life, and you will likely end up overworked, miserable, and filled with regret. Love the work and you'll get the result. If you only love the end result, there's a very good chance that the work will destroy you. I've seen people who have won the school games making over $100K a month, and they shut down their business because they were so burnt and destroyed from doing work that they hated and the amount of stress and pressure that came with it. Anything worth having requires hard work. So for the work to not beat you down and break you, you have to love it. This doesn't mean you're going to love everything you're doing all the time. There will be days that maybe you don't feel your best, or you're just off, or you have to do some tasks that you don't really like doing. Especially in the beginning when you're a solopreneur doing everything by yourself, there might be more of this than you would like. But over time, you can build a team to fill in those roles and do the things that you don't like doing. But this requires time and a lot of work. So I want to start by showing you this diagram that explains it a lot better than I can just in words. So if you're looking at this diagram and you have a business in mind or that you started, ask yourself, do you care about what you're doing? Do you care about the purpose behind it? Or do you care about the process of it? Or do you just love the end result of maybe making a lot of money and you actually hate everything that is required to get there? Because in this diagram, you see here that there are three parts to this image. There's the seed, the roots, and the plant. And the analogy I want to use is that everything starts with the seed. It has this number 1 here. And the seed is your passion. It's the thing that you love. Out of this seed, out of this topic or niche that you're super interested in, that's where you're going to build your entire business around. Out of that seed, if you water it and you nurture it, you're going to get the roots, and you're going to figure out what those roots need to be. The roots are your plan. It's the strategies and systems that are going to allow you to build your business. In a plant, the roots gather all of the nutrients from the soil so that the plant can grow. The same way that in your business, your strategies and systems around the topic that you love are going to be what brings you your traffic. It attracts your dream clients. It allows you to have the infrastructure to help those people. And bringing all of that in is what's going to allow this plant to grow. And that plant is the business that people see. People don't always see the passion that you have. They don't see all the strategies and systems and all the work that you've put in. They just see the end result, which is the business that helps them solve a problem. And so the point of this is to figure out what you love your work, invest the time to understand what does that business need to grow successfully, and then the business will grow. So the next question is, how do you figure out what you're super passionate about and what you're going to be able to build a business around where you're not going to burn out? And that is why I actually made this document right here. This Dream Niche Discovery document is meant to help you figure out what you love, what kind of niche you could choose, and understand how to look at that niche and find a problem that's worth solving. So the first part of this document is, I actually adapted it from a Sam Ovens video. I linked it here if you'd like to check it out. But you want to figure out what you love. And maybe you know immediately, you're like, I love this thing. I can't stop talking about it. It's what I want to like live and breathe all the time. Great. But if you don't, there's ways that you can figure it out. And some great ways are to look at your YouTube search history, look at your Instagram, TikTok algorithms, your home feed, your Chrome browser, your favorite movies. A lot of the times we identify with the main character in our favorite movies. So it's a good idea to see like, what are their character traits like? What are they interested in? You could also look at your favorite books, ask a family or friend what you will not shut up about. There's a good chance they will have some awareness about it that maybe you don't. And also look at where you spend your money. If you love golf, like in this example, do you spend all your money on new gear and magazines, or same thing with music? Is it equipment and new instruments? So this will all help you figure out what you love. And when you do, you can just write your answer here. I love topic. Now, the next step is we want to not just say, I love music, I'm going to build a business around music. You need to understand the ecosystem around the topic. So you want to list out all of the actors, everything involved. For instance, if you love golf, there's so much in the world of golf. There's players, there's the audience, there's tournaments, there's golf courses, there's coaches, there's equipment, putters, drivers, balls, there's magazines, television, YouTube channels, websites. All of these things are part of the golf ecosystem, and they're all opportunities where you could find a way to build a business and solve a problem. And in this document, I also have a prompt you can put into ChatGPT that'll help you figure out all the pieces of that ecosystem. And now that we have all these elements of the ecosystem, we want to understand how they're related. This is where we're going to start to maybe notice opportunities for us to come in and find a space that brings different elements we love together and solve a meaningful problem. And what you can do here is, I actually made this little diagram template that you can use. And yeah, basically you can put in what you love in the center here, in this case, golf. And then golf has different places, different media channels, different shopping elements, and people. So for people, you have players, coaches, audience. Shopping, there's clubs, balls, online stores. For clothing, there's men's, women's, kids. You can just start to create the web and really start to figure out, okay, maybe I'm more interested in the shopping and the clothing aspect. Maybe I want to get into e-commerce. Or maybe I'm more interested in education and I like the YouTube channel idea and I want to start something there. Maybe I want to coach. Whatever it is, bring those elements together and you can figure out where you're going to be able to build a business that you really love and where you can provide a lot of value. Okay, and after we've looked at that, we want to understand the problems and pain points that all the different avatars in this niche have. So what do people want that they aren't getting? And if you looked at this diagram here after you create it and you can already identify, you can focus in on that area. For instance, if it was clothing, you could focus in on problems related to clothing in golf. But if you're unsure, you can just look at it in general. Again, there's another ChatGPT prompt here that'll help you figure out where you can create an offer. If you're interested in high ticket coaching, this prompt is really great. If you want to do one-on-one coaching with people and help them achieve a certain goal or transformation, this prompt will really help you. But you can also look at things, like I said, if you love golf and e-commerce, you can look at clothing. There's a lack of education around golf attire, its function. You could start an education channel. Lots you can do here. But the point is, you want to identify meaningful problems and pain points. And then once you have that list, you can ask yourself, What are the most painful problems that you could figure out how to solve? And who are you solving it for? The reason that you want to find painful problems is because those are problems people are more willing to pay for. And especially if you want to charge high ticket, so $1,000 plus. I specialize in working with coaches and freelancers. So I've actually made this diagram that can help explain that. When you are figuring out what problem to solve and who to solve it for, especially if you want to charge high ticket, you want to try and be in this middle part here, this niche section, because you need to have a blend of your passion, as we talked about, so you don't burn out. You need to have the skill to fix it, and people need to pay for it. If you are passionate about something and you have the skill to do it, but nobody actually wants that thing, you're going to be broke. And we call this the hippie archetype. If you are passionate about a problem that people want solved, but you don't actually have the skill to do it, your business is going to fail because you're one of the fake gurus that we see all over the internet. And if you have the skill to do it and solve a problem people want, but you're not actually passionate about it, as we've talked about, you're going to burn out. And this is called the mercenary. You're just going, you're not thinking. That's what happened with my last business. And I burnt out and I shut it down. Now I found this sweet spot, my passion, my skill, high ticket problem. I coach people on building their own high ticket coaching businesses. So once you figure out what problem you're solving and who to solve it for, you want to ask yourself if this dream client actually has money to buy your thing. Because if not, it might not be the best client because they won't become clients because they don't have money. Doesn't mean we don't want to help people who don't have money. It's just if you are trying to build a business, it's something that you need to think about. And the last question is the market for your dream client growing or shrinking? For instance, you want to pick a market where the number of people interested in that niche is growing. There are a lot of things like that right now because of the internet. But for example, of a market that's shrinking would be the newspaper market. If you're trying to help newspaper printing factories print better or cheaper, that is a dying market. So it may not be the best niche. And then at the end of this document, there's also a link to the next step, which is to create an offer for a high ticket program. But the point is that if you have found the topic you love, you found meaningful problems in that niche that you're interested in and that people actually want solved, and you figure out who you're going to solve it for, you now have the foundation to build an entire business that you love that also has the potential to make a lot of money. And so if you want to go through that document and fill it out for yourself, I have a link to it in the description below. It's free. You can get it, go through it, figure out your niche, figure out your problem, and you're going to have that foundation that you need. You're going to have the seed that then you can build the roots around. You can grow those roots and grow the plant. So if you want that help building that foundation, grab the Dream Niche Discovery document in the link below. And I know it's going to help you a lot starting out and building your business.